personal right to contest for the position of governor. When Obasanjo said he want to do everything for now, we can say that to all Nigerians.
Ideh, a presidential aspirant of the Alliance for a New Nigeria, ANN. Yes, we're just talking about your chance in getting the ticket from your party. Let's get to governance, because party politics, a lot of people say it's all about politicians, it's all about what they want to do. But what exactly do you have for Nigeria? We're talking about tackling insecurity. We're talking of herdsmen and the farmers' clashes. We're talking of the deadly, dreaded Boko Haram insurgents. And who knows what else we are still going to be facing, kidnapping in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
But what are we expecting in tackling this insecurity?
You know, in all of these things that you have just broken down, it's just a pointer to show that law and order has broken down in our nation, because if not, we'll not have that level of insecurity problem. So in my government, when I'm elected in 2017, one of the first things I will look into...
Did you say when or if?
When. I really...
Okay, it was consciously said.
Yeah, it was consciously said. I know everything I'm saying. I'm conscious of my words. When I'm elected as the first female president in 2019, I will look into the area of law and order, because if that is put in check, we will not have what we have going on right now in our nation, because we've experienced all those levels: Boko Haram, herdsmen clashes, what has been classified right now as genocide in our nation, killings, wanton killings, and not one person, not one, has been arrested. There's something wrong with our law. There's something wrong, you know, with the people that are supposed to protect our lives, you know, as a government, because our constitution, and even in most constitution of the world, says the major reason for governance is for welfare of the people and for the security of the people, and that has broken down. We're going to look into all of those areas by making sure there's an increase in the police force. We don't have enough in Nigeria. We don't have enough of them in Nigeria. We're going to look in how to recruit more police into the system, how to increase their welfare packages, because even some of the corruptions that Nigerians are shouting about in that area is because they are not properly being taken care of. If we have a police force and a police department that have enough equipment to be able to combat all of these things, and they are personally taking care of their welfare, their salary package, their housing, their feeding, their securities and benefits are, you know, brought to international standard, then they will not look, you know, sideways. They will face their job properly. And I believe there have been a lot of votes to take care of them in that area. It's just that some of the leaders, we all know, we know all this is in Nigeria. Most of those funds have not been used for what it ought to be used for. In my government, you know, when we come in 2019, we are going to make sure we bring law and order into all of those areas, and we allow the justice system to run without any interference, because right now a whole lot of them are being gagged or used as witch hunt against opposition, just used for personal, you know, weapons against the people. We have the most learned people in that department in our nation, but they have not been allowed to operate with free will. Even our financial EFCC, you know, the Economic Financial Crimes Commission, they have been used as a tool, you know, and they are actually well equipped. They are well-trained people. If they can be given free hands to actually, left alone without interference from any department, to be able to operate the way they ought to, I think corruption will be brought to a minimal level. We are going to look into all of those areas. And again, one of the first major things our government is going to take care of when I come in 2019 is that we'll look at the area of hunger. In fact, that's one of the major things that drove me into this trail. like I've been saying to everybody that cares to listen, I was minding my business as a clergywoman, doing the work I was called to do to a sector of the society that has been totally marginalized, to the abandoned, to the homeless, to the needy, the poor, the widows, the destitutes, lame, blind, you know, people that we can easily overlook. And that has been my assignment, going out there into the communities, going into the environment, trying to find out what brought them into that sort of squalor. You will see husband, wives, you know, having children, living as whole families, under the bridges, on the streets, abandoned buildings, breeding children, children that has no hope for education. You know, they have to survive on the street. They have not been trained or educated to know any other way of survival but through what they have learned on the street by becoming armed robbers or prostitutes or, you know, what, all of those vices. These are people that will trouble you and I in the future. I was going out into the community to tend to people like that, and that is what brought me into national, you know, issues. Because I began to question the system. I mean, my passion in doing the work I was called to do as a clergywoman rose just beyond that aspect. And I began to question my nation because, first and foremost, before I became a woman of God, I was born into Nigeria. So my interest in national issues is because, first, I'm a Nigerian and I'm a concerned citizen of Nigeria. I was like, we are better than this. We are more than this. We're a rich nation. We're a blessed nation. Why should we still have our people living at that level of squalor and nobody is asking questions and children are growing up? These are children that will find themselves into the system, into governance. You know, they have not had any molding, any training, any other way but the ways of crime. And they will find themselves into the system and they will begin to trouble you and me. And I became concerned. And I'm
sure you have loads to talk about.
Yes.
And you've touched like 3 areas.
Yes.
And we just asked on security. Well, let's look at that.
Yes.
An area you're already dwelling on. The issue of unemployment. Teaming unemployed youth.
Yeah.
So this cliche, it has become a cliche when you say we have unemployable youth
Yes.
and the stuffs. And people will say, what is the relationship between the gown and the town that we're churning out half-baked graduates and stuff like that? So what's your plan? What's your strategy?
The strategy is that when you create an enabling environment, our youths will thrive. Like, let's look at the area of agriculture, which was what I was driving at with the story I was just telling you. But because the first major thing we have to take care of is the hunger and the poverty in the land. And when we can like focus and zero in on how to increase our food production level, so that first and foremost, you cannot have productive people if they don't feed well. You will lose human capital. Then they will have health issue, and then they will die off. We will lose all of the good resource we have in human beings. So first and foremost, let's create an environment where we can have high-level food production.
That's not going to be stomach infrastructure?
Not just stomach infrastructure. Just drive it at a level where there will be enough production, mechanized farming, create an avenue where farmers can be able to produce with lower cost. You know, we have vast lands across the nation. Some of them are just laying in waste. Find a way to make it available for all of these farmers. Even the ones that are farming right now, they are leasing most of those lands. And they pay like monthly or yearly. How much?
I'm really scared because of time. So talk about the education too.
Okay.
What's the plan?
The plan for education that we have is that at least up to primary level, we're going to try to have free education for all so that our children can go back to school, because the illiteracy level in Nigeria now is very high. We have over 10 million plus children out there on the street, uneducated, because they are homeless. And we cannot continue like that. We are better than this. So we are really going to focus in that area. We would like to take it up to secondary school level. But my team and I, we are still trying to work on what is sustainable. We do not want to give promises that we cannot, achieve, because that is what other politicians have been saying, just to buy votes or collect people. They just come and they say anything. That is not what we want to do. We are working very hard on seeing what we can do for the people that will be sustainable. We will start in our time. We might not end it in our season, but we'll put it in place, activate it, and hope that other government will fall into place and will show a roadmap of what Nigeria will be in the next 20 years.
Because of time, too.
Yeah.
I know one critical issue Nigerians will quickly hear your take on the next 60 seconds, the issue of herders clash. Are you for ranching or you are for cattle grazing? What's the strategy? Ranching,
it should be localized. They should have, it should not be the way they are doing it right now, that every state by force. It's not by force. We know we have cattle rearers almost in every state of the nation. But wherever they are, let it be localized to their state. Let the state government find a way of putting them in a particular location for proper breeding, for hygiene, for good maintenance. Then from there, they can transport it onward to wherever they are going to sell it. It should not be a thing where they should be killing people just to take their land.
On health.
Yes.
On health.
On health. We are going to improve the equipment in all the federal hospitals, the state hospitals, and make sure we have of international standard to take care of our people. Because if our people are in good health, they will be productive. They will be good, resource for the nation. And we'll have better human capital
and
to be able to develop our nation.
Finally, on the final note, how confident are you that even if you lose this election, we'll still have you back in 2023?
Can we just finish with 2019?
Okay.
Then you can ask me this question again.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you're so confident that
yes.
2019, come May 29, we are going to have
yes.
you installed as the next president of
I
Nigeria.
will be installed.
And on that note, we say thank you very much
thank
for your time.
Thank you.
We quite appreciate your time.
Thank you.